What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby. This video is our 400 subscriber video. Thank you all so much for your support. We're still on the road to 500, but thank you so much. And in celebration of that and recent Dragon Ball news, we are taking a look at the SH Figuarts Super BROLY. Now, unless you are new to Dragon Ball or collecting in general, you already know this figure is awesome. So we are going to dig right in and waste no time and take a closer look at him. But let's get him measured up real quick. This figure stands basically to the top of his spiky hair right at 8 inches, and down to where his hairline is more like 7 inches, which would make the entire figure right about 20 centimeters or so. But let's take a second and let's compare him to some other figures. And here he is next to Full Power Broly. My gosh, both these figures look so awesome. And here he is next to Final Form Cooler. And here he is next to Final Battle Jiren. And here he is next to the first release of Nappa. And here he is next to the Marvel Legends Red Hulk. And here he is next to the Marvel Select Red Hulk. And here he is next to the Marvel Legends Super Adaptoid. And here he is next to the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku and a box of Hamburger Helper. All right, all of that looks awesome. Let's take a look at his accessories really quick. He doesn't come with a lot of stuff, but he does come with some really cool stuff. He comes with not one, not two, but 3 different head sculpts. Here is the powered down head sculpt, and I think it looks really good. And here he is with the Ikari head sculpt that comes on him in the package. Look at that. That is fantastic. And lastly, here he is with the Super Saiyan head sculpt. My goodness, he looks fierce, doesn't he? Without the pupils and stuff in his eyes, that looks crazy good. And I just want to point out that his Super Saiyan head sculpt and the Ikari head sculpt are the exact same hair sculpt, just painted different colors. And he comes with 6 hands in total. He comes with 2 fists on him in the package. He comes with 2 open gripping hands and 2 wide open hands. All 6 hands look really good. No shading on them, but they all look really good. And I think that works for this figure. I mean, I could use an energy blast or a stand or something like that, but I think the days of SH Figuarts doing stands are pretty much over. But the figure looks really awesome other than that anyway. So, I mean, those head sculpts were crazy good. I mean, tell me down in the comments what you think about it. But let's move in and let's take a look at his paint and detail really quick. Just starting at his head, I mean, this, I think it's called Ikari is the form that he's in right here. And man, oh man, just look at this head sculpt right here. Matte finish. That's actually not even a matte finish. That's a flat finish right there. Look at the face. He's screaming, the intensity in his eyes, the scar on his face. His open mouth right here looks fantastic. These paint apps are killer. Moving down, of course, he's got the little power control necklace or whatever you call that Paragus gave him. Nice matte finish on the shoulder pads right here. Beautiful flat finish on these on his Saiyan armor. And if you want to know the difference between what a flat finish and a matte finish looks like, these shoulder pads are a matte finish right here in the green. And then if you look at his chest armor, that is flat. And I don't know if the camera's actually giving you a nice differentiation. Matte, flat. And if you were in person, if you held him in person, you'd see the little bit of the difference. Because like right here, you can see that this is a matte finish, flat finish. And it all looks fantastic. The paint's done really well. Back here on the back, no missteps in the paint there. I wish the ear, that he wears is kind of like a skirt. I know it's an ear, but I'm going to call it a skirt for this video. I wish it had a wash on it to kind of make it pop and come to life a little bit better. But it doesn't, so I can't really complain too bad. Because, I mean, it still looks really good because it's got a lot of nice texture. It's a nice, flexible plastic material. The muscles, got the shading. We all know I love shading on muscles. I think it just brings figures to life. Shading in the chest, neck, and face. Moving down to the legs. The legs, they look really good. We got to look up his skirt here for just a couple minutes. Oh, but the legs look really good. I wish there was some shading or a wash down through the legs to make them kind of pop. But again, another matte finish on the legs. Look back here for Broly butt. And the sculpt looks really good. The legs in this one are pretty proportionate to his upper body. Nice flat finish down here on the boots. Paint is really good on the boots. There's paint on the toes and they're green, and that looks really good. Bottom is just gray plastic. Overall, his paint and aesthetic are just phenomenal. That is what this figure is absolutely known for. And you know, this is a prime example again of what Bandai can do when they put their mind to it with an action figure. This thing just looks so good. I mean, look at that. The sculpt is just incredible, and that flat finish with that airbrush shading. I mean, holy crap! And then the armor, it's nice and simple. There could be some panel lining or something there, but I'm not going to complain because it just looks so clean and good. But that's pretty much all I've got for his like aesthetic. Really, it's fantastic. A+, you know, A+ aesthetic. It's just so good. Let's see how well he moves real quick. But let's start at the top. Now, with his hair sculpt right here, with it being kind of long and down the back like that, we're not going to get a big bunch of head movement. We do get a lot of neck movement, and that looks really nice right there. I know his shoulder blades are kind of blocking it, but it gets a lot of neck movement. And the head, it would move if the hair sculpt, you know, on the side and in the back didn't block it. And let's take a look at his neck real quick as I lose that. And it's on a double ball peg, so we know that is the way to go each and every time, in my opinion. I know people, you know, kind of argue with me with that, but, you know, tell me down in the comments what kind of neck joint do you think at least the head into the neck joint every figure should have. I vote for double ball peg. Tell me what your thoughts are. But if he didn't have a crazy neck sculpt, his head would move really well. Let's move over to his shoulders. Way up to 90 like that, no problem. And let's point out his shoulder pads. I love how they move, because his shoulder pads roll back like that because they are on this little kind of a ball hinge right here. And I like that system because they can go that way and like that, and then down in the front, so they don't impede the shoulder in any way, shape, or form, and it doesn't look horrible when it comes up either. Now his butterfly that he does have, it's kind of like a ball peg kind of thing, and this shifts in and out, and it works well enough. His hands don't come, you know, across, but they come close enough together. I think that that's pretty decent for a big chunky figure like this. So I think that they're doing their job well enough. See, it's got the ball hinge in the shoulder right there. There's a little bit of cut at the top, so that's why we get it to come up all the way like that, and it can come across him good. And this looks good when it engages and opens up. There's not super gappy, a little bit of a gap right there, but those shoulder pads could kind of hide it, and the sculpt remains, and it still looks like the armor. So I really like how they've done his shoulders. He's got a bicep swivel, little squeaky, but that's okay. Double jointed elbow, but it's not going to go much past 90 because of the big ass arms he's got. And his wrists are, let's see what his wrists actually are on. His wrists are on a ball hinge, just a big one, and I kind of like that. His abdomen, we don't get a lot of ab crunch out of him because of this right here. This is attached to the top part of his torso, so it gets in the way a little bit. He can lean back a little bit, and you do get some tilt and twist out of just the diaphragm brake. And he's also got a, I'm going to say it's probably a ball peg there at the waist. I haven't, you know, popped him apart to kind of look, but I think that that's a ball peg in there. So you get some extra kind of nuance out of it to kind of get the move that you want. And you can twist it at the waist or at the diaphragm brake, either way you want to go. So either way, it works out pretty well there. Now, of course, the skirt floats, and you can take it off if you pop him in half, but he looks really weird, and I don't feel like doing that right now. Now his legs are on a drop down. If you can see that, they drop down and can kick out way far, and but they will pop off if you do it a little too hard like I did. I did that just to show you what would happen, but they go back on really easily, and you can just shove them back up in there, and it'll get a little bit of thigh swivel on that ball peg that's up in there. But he does have very good leg range of motion. It's a little bit impeded by the ear, but the ear has the brake. It's like two pieces basically, and so you can get plenty of leg movement out of him. Get a decent front kick, comes up to waist height. That's pretty good for me. He does have booty cheeks.
Hey, sweet cheeks.
So it doesn't kick back very well. But Broly doesn't do like a lot of gymnastic splits or anything, so I'm not that worried about that. Double jointed knee works pretty well. Could be a little bit better, but I'm not going to complain. It still looks pretty good. Now his ankles, not a lot down or back, however you want to describe it, and definitely not a lot of up, just barely past, you know, normal level. Like that would be level right there, and it'll go to about that, like that. Little bit of ankle rocker, not my, well, if you force it, you can get it to go up over these little lips. You see that right there around the ankle? So you can get it to go, if you can get it to go over that, you can get some pretty good ankle rocker out of it. And he's got a toe brake. Definitely not the best looking toe brake ever, and it's pretty flush, but it's still pretty big, but it's nice and tight, and his feet are big, so he's balanced pretty well. All in all, his articulation is really good, especially for a big beefy figure, and especially for somebody who's got you know, soft goods around him, that, or not soft goods, but you know what I'm talking about, sculpted stuff that kind of usually impedes movement. So his articulation is pretty good despite all that. Well, actually really good despite all that. My final thoughts on him. I don't want to just sound like a fanboy. I'm trying to be completely objective about this. But this figure is amazing. It looks so good. This figure is gorgeous on so many levels. The paint is really good, and the paint is nice and simple. Oop, if you'll stand there. The paint's nice and simple, but executed really well. His articulation is fantastic. Well, fantastic might be a strong word. It's really good for the sculpt and what it is. And maybe it could have been done a little bit better. He maybe could have had articulated pieces back here, kind of like the Super Saiyan 4 Goku or Vegeta, to give us a little bit more head movement. But Broly's such a big figure. Looking up is really not something he super duper needs to do. He does more looking down than anything because he's bigger than everybody. I think the scale is good. Negatives, I think his feet are a little big, but not really so much on this one. But on the other iteration of him, the feet are a little big. But other than that, I got to give this figure a premier level. This figure is a work of art. He is absolutely gorgeous. Highly recommend you get him. I know he's expensive on the secondary market. I mean, he wasn't cheap when he was retail. I can't remember if he was $70 or $80 when he was retail. But his secondary prices, I think, will run anywhere from $110 to $160, depending on when and where you get it and from who you get it. Even at that, he's still worth it. He is a must-have, you know, if you are a Dragon Ball collector or if you're new, because he's just such a fantastic and super strong release. Highly recommend you get him. I highly recommend you check out our other videos. Okay, you know, we're an up-and-comer, and I highly recommend that you subscribe. Okay, scroll down and click the subscribe button, click the like button. It won't kill you. And with all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.